Right now is one of the best times to get into real estate investing for four main reasons. Any of you guys that's been in business for any amount of time will know that the market can explode your growth when it comes to business. Sometimes you don't have to be perfect at everything, but the market can just work in your favor, allowing you to almost alley-oop a basketball in for an easy dunk. Let's get right into this. Right now, for real estate investors, you'll notice that when you're looking at reports from your agents, that the average days on markets for people selling their houses are higher. During the years of 2020, 2021, it was something like 3 days on market. Every year since then has been getting higher and higher. Right now, the average days on market is around 30 days. See, now it might seem like a bad thing to some people that the market is slowing down like this, but it's honestly not. Before then, in 2018 and 17, average days on market was 45 days. For real estate investors, that was always one of the things that we would pitch to our sellers, that because the average days on market took longer, it's better for some sellers who are motivated, who need to solve some kind of issue, to go with the as-is cash offer. Because the as-is cash offer is typically 17 to 14-day closings. So because of that, we would pick up more off-market deals because the average days on market was so far out. Now in the market of today, in 2024, in August, the days on market have gone back up to 30 days. And from what I believe, since the season is fizzling out, we're probably going to get back to that 45-day average days on market here soon. And because of that, you need to start pitching yourself as a real estate investor. The benefits of you paying cash, the benefits of you having no contingencies, buying it as is, and the benefits of you closing in 30 days or less will be more attractive for sellers who are looking to sell in a quick, timely manner because of this change in the marketplace. Number two is the affordability rate of these houses that are on the market today. See, the median price range here in my area in 2018 was $175,000. That was the median price. So most people were buying in that particular price range. Today's median price range is $306,000, and the average price on market right now is $353,000. Okay, now all of that is great for the people who own houses, because if your property value went from 175 to 350, amen, you're making money. But for the people who are buying, who are currently renting, number one, that makes their rent higher, but also it makes their, the barrier to entry to buy a new home harder. You have to make more money, you have to have better credit, you have to have a larger down payment, and then so on and so on, which makes the affordability aspect in every market in the United States harder to get into. Harder to get into markets, means that the sales are going to slow down. And if somebody needs to sell, because that's once again who we're going for, as our target client, as a real estate investor, if somebody needs to sell, they're going to have to look to someone who can go around all of this random rigmarole that, doesn't, necessarily need a down payment, doesn't necessarily need someone to pull their W-2s, doesn't necessarily need an appraisal or inspection, or walkthroughs, because not as many buyers in the market who can move right now. And see, now, because of this, because there's not that many buyers, what I've realized is, even though prices have gone up, what it's allowed us to do as investors is to come in more creatively. Instead of us giving the seller full price, since there's less buyers, we can give them a little less. Or we can get creative in our terms and say, hey, I'll give you a small amount down and you take the remaining of your profits over time. Or taking over good debt, their debt that they have now, and then throwing in their profits outside of that mortgage and you taking over the mortgage. It's allowed normal, common, everyday people who don't have any issues at all to consider offers like this, because there are just not as many buyers who can afford to buy in today's market. Number three is because people can afford to buy in today's market, it's causing more people to rent. Okay, it's causing more people to rent. Now, the good news is that everybody has equity in this market. Prices exploded, so of course everybody has equity. But the market is cyclical. People that own a property now want to sell so they can capture that equity, but they also want to buy a house. Some of those people needed that money, so they wasn't able to buy a house because of the affordability, so they just kept the cash and they're renting. The people who are renting now, who've always been renting, see it as hard for them to save up a down payment because of the increase in all of these prices and inflation and those things, groceries, eggs, shoes, school, insurance. So they're not buying property, which means there's more renters in the marketplace. More renters in the marketplace, more demand, okay, with less supply, because housing is we have a shortage of housing right now, means that rent prices are increasing or staying strong. The more you can get in rent, the more houses you can buy and the more mortgage you can cover. You see, the people who actually buy property with good debt, with good long-term loans, will be able to establish a good rent history, and then be able to refinance those houses with DSCR loans, debt service coverage ratio loans. Essentially, there are so many renters in the marketplace. Everybody almost has to find a place to stay and then stay there because there's not any other available inventory for rent. I got Section 8 tenants calling me now saying, hey, nobody's accepting Section 8. I need something. Don't give it away. I'll drop off a deposit now. I have private pay tenants saying, hey, I've been living in a hotel paying $1,300 a month. I just want a house that I'll pay $1,500 a month to live in. And realistically, they're accepting smaller houses with smaller beds, smaller square footage for that same amount of money. So really, if you're a real estate investor right now and you're holding this gold, you're winning. Number 4 is because there's a housing shortage, the government thinks they have to get involved, okay? And now, because we're heading into the political race here, we have the good old Mr. Republican, Mr. Trump, that's coming up, and we have Kamala Harris. Now, both of them are going to do their best to ease the citizens of the United States about the housing crisis that we're in. The affordability, the rent increases, the loans that people are able to get for the housing and the housing that's available. Let's stick with that right there, the housing that's available. If there's not enough housing to house the people that we have right now, what can the government do? Incentivize new construction. Kamala Harris last week, she got up on stage and said, hey, I'm going to help build 5 million brand new houses over my 4-year term when she's elected. And so who do you think are building those houses? Do you think the average everyday person with a 9-to-5 job is building those houses? Or do you think a real estate investor that's picking up land, a volume of land, 50 acres, 100 acres, 3, 4, 5 acres a week, do you think those people are building houses? Absolutely. For real estate investors, when this government incentive money comes in, whether it's from Trump or Kamala, either way, it's going to be a flood of money that hits the market, and the people that are holding assets at that moment, because once something changes, it's changed. So you got to get it right now before it changes, so that way you can, so that we can have your bait, in the water already. So a shark, a big whale, can bite it. So I suggest that you go through these videos. I'm gonna leave one right here for you and learn how you can buy property with none of your own money before the year's up. Let's get it.